We are on The Guardian, and I hope that you're having a good day. And so we are here talking today about several different things that I want to talk about. I want to invite you, first off, I want to invite you to the Mississippi Gulf Coast Salute to Veterans. And that is going to be Tuesday, February the 6th at 6:30. And it's going to be at the Gaucher Campus Cafeteria for MGCCC. And it is presented by Veterans for Trump. And there's a good group of speakers that are scheduled to speak, and you're going to enjoy it very much. If you have not already subscribed, whether on Substack, YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, we are broadcasting on all of the social media platforms. If you have not already subscribed, I would encourage you to go ahead and do so, and because it helps us get around that algorithm. Of course, Facebook and Substack, or maybe not Substack, but YouTube, and a lot of these social media platforms, they do not want the conservative message getting out, and so it helps us whenever you like, comment, or subscribe. It really helps us. Once again, come join us Tuesday, February the 6th at 6:30, and we're going to have a great time. That, once again, is at the MGCCC Gaucher Campus Cafeteria, and there's going to be some great speakers speaking on Tuesday night, and we're going to have a good time. I love to always mention this before we get started, and that is your vote counts. So many people, and they just don't think that their vote counts, but I want to encourage you, and that your vote absolutely 100% counts. And if we don't get out the vote, we're going to lose this election. And so I was talking to a friend of mine today, and we were talking about the election coming up in November. And we were talking about President Trump. We were talking about Joe Biden. And we even talked a little bit about Michelle Obama. And one thing that I told him was I really believe that Donald Trump, I believe that President Trump will beat Joe Biden should be very easily. At least I hope so. At least that's what I think. I think that he will. If it's Michelle Obama, it's going to be a little more difficult to beat Michelle Obama. I mean, I'm just going to be honest with you. I mean, she is very popular. Her husband is very popular, and they have the charisma. They have everything that you really want in a politician. Now, we're going to fight. We're going to fight we're going to fight as best as we can, to defeat no matter who the Democrat nominee is. I just don't see the Democrat Party putting up Joe Biden. I see them 100% putting up Michelle Obama, and that once again goes back to that is why your vote counts. That's why we have to work, we have to push, and we have to do everything that we can to get the vote out, because we the people, we are the ones that are going to control who the next president is. And if we just sit at home and if we don't get out and vote, then, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to lose. And so no matter who Donald Trump is going up against, if we don't get out and vote, Joe Biden will win. If we don't get out and vote, Michelle Obama will win. It doesn't matter. And so we have to get out and vote, and just remind people that your vote counts. And no matter what they say, yes, they want to push this narrative, that that your vote doesn't count and that the election was stolen. And they want people to think that, so people will stay at home and people will not get out and go vote. And so that is why we have to 100% be sure to get the vote out and push like as hard as we possibly can to get the vote out. We, the people, this election is 100%, it's up to we the people. And if we want President Trump to win, it is going to take you and I understanding that it's we the people. We got to get out. We have to push for President Trump, and our vote does 100% count. Somebody was talking this past week. I want to talk a little bit about this on the video. I did an email about this. I wrote an article about corruption. And there is so much corruption that is going on, in our nation. It is real. It's scary. And it happens on a local level, it happens on a state level, and it happens even at the national level. That is why I'm constantly pushing and encouraging good people to run for office. Even good people can be corrupted, but it's important that we keep good people around us. No matter who you are, if you're an elected official, it is so important, number one, that you keep your walk with God rolling. I mean, every single day you get with God, because any of us, I am not an elected official. One day I pray, one day I pray that maybe one day I might become an elected official. We're looking at some different things running in the future for sure, and praying about it, letting God lead. But no matter who you are, the best Christian in the world, and I'm not anywhere close to that. I'm not even trying to allure to that. I'm just saying that the best Christian in the world can become corrupt if they don't keep their walk with God going. Keep your walk with God. It is so vital. It is so important that you keep your walk with God. And so many people, they get in office or they run for office and they win, and then they neglect, they just get busy. All of us get busy. I pastor a church and I'm involved in the political landscape. I'm involved in a lot of things, and we get busy, and it's so easy to neglect that walk with God. And any of us are capable of becoming corrupt if we don't keep that walk with God. The second thing is stay close to your family. So many people, and this just goes, and this doesn't matter if you're elected or not. So many people, they have a job, maybe they travel a lot, maybe they spend a lot of time away from their family, and they get involved in things that they shouldn't get involved in. And whenever they do that, they will become corrupt. Whether you're in Jackson, Mississippi, whether you're in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, whether you're in Montgomery, Alabama, whether you're in Alaska, whether you're in Washington, D.C., it doesn't matter where you're at. If you get away from your family and if you begin to neglect your moral principles, and whether you're a man and you begin to chase some woman, or you're a woman and you begin to chase some man, or whatever it is, you become way too much into drinking and alcohol. You will become corrupt. And so not only do you need to stay close to God, but you better stay close to your family. And if your work causes you to travel a lot, it is important that you stay close to your parent. I see people sometimes, they will, and look, I don't want to make anybody mad. I'm just stating facts about corruption, because there's so much corruption that is going on. I don't have time to attend different social gatherings every single night. I don't have time for that. I have a family. I want to get home to my family. I want to get home to my wife. I want to sleep in my bed as much as I possibly can. And so we need to be careful. We need to be careful, especially if we're spending a lot of time away from home. I don't care if you're a preacher. I don't care if you're an evangelist. I don't care if you're an elected official. I don't care if you're a CEO of a company. Whatever you do, it's important you stay close to your God, to Christ, and it's important that you stay close to your family. It's important that you walk with God. If not, you will become corrupt. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to become corrupt. Is it possible? Absolutely, it's possible for any of us to become corrupt. I don't want to become corrupt. And so I want to walk with God. I want to stay close to my family. I want to keep good people around me. I want to keep good people. Listen, you need to keep people around you that's not scared to tell you the truth, that can look you in your God-given eyeball and tell you the truth and say, listen, you're messing up here. You're attending too many of these events here. You're doing this. You need some people around you that can tell you the truth. And when they tell you the truth, don't get mad. Don't get mad. And thank God that there are people that want to tell you the truth. Corruption is like a cancer, and it's eating away at our nation. It's eating away at the family unit. It's eating away at our society. That is what corruption does. It is a cancer, and it must be stopped. And how are we going to stop it? We can stop it by several ways. Number one, you can stop it by not being corrupt. If you're not saved, get saved, walk with Christ, build that relationship with Him, walk away from some things, establish some boundaries in your life that you're not going to do certain things, that you're going to stay away from certain people, and get those things established so you don't become corrupt. It is so very, very important. Let me just stop right here and say, if you have not already subscribed to the channel, and please subscribe to the channel. And let's not forget, on Tuesday, February the 6th, this event is coming up. You don't want to miss it at the MGCCC Gaucher Campus Cafeteria. We're going to have a good time. But corruption, there are so many people that are corrupt. And I'm not here to get onto anyone, because anytime I do a video like this and we talk about corruption, I've got to watch Dan. I've got to make sure that Dan doesn't become corrupt. And Dan is my number one worst enemy. I've got to watch him. I've got to get up in the morning and walk with God. I've got to stay close to my family. I got to keep good people surrounding me, and allow people to help and nurture me and say things, and don't get mad and angry, because corruption is like a cancer, and anyone can become corrupt. Someone said, well, you don't have to worry about me becoming corrupt. You're exactly what I'm worried about. I'm worried about you becoming corrupt. It's important. It's important that we don't become corrupt. Excuse me. It's part of our sinful nature. Listen, at the end of the day, I'm a sinner. At the end of the day, we're all sinners. And if we're not careful, we will allow our sinful nature to take over. That's why I always talk about walking with God and allowing Christ to lead us and direct us and yield to Him. It helps us. It helps us. Corruption will erode. You talk about trust. I hear so much of different scandals going on. Whether it's state, whether it's local, whether it's in the nation. And it just causes people not to trust anymore. That's why whenever you look at these elections and you hear talked about all the time, corruption in the 2020 election. And I was told don't even mention it because YouTube and Rumble or some of these platforms will shut down your video if you start talking about the 2020 election. But the truth of the matter is this: there's corruption in every election. The truth of it is there are people everywhere trying to steal elections, not just 2020, but it happens all the time. And because you have bad people that weasel their way into a position so they can try to manipulate the system and use corruption to try to get their person elected. Someone said, do you believe that there was corruption in 2020? Absolutely, I believe there was a corruption in 2020. I believe there's corruption nearly in every election, not just when it comes to the voting, but even some of these mailers and some of the things that people put out, even some of the videos, that people post on social media and some of these commercials, they are just full of corruption. Some of them are just outright lies, in some of these videos or in some of these commercials or in some of these mailers. And so that is all part of eroding away the trust of the people whenever there's corruption. And so we need to be very careful about that. We need to make sure, one, that we're not being corrupt, and we need to be careful to separate ourselves from people that are full of corruption. It impacts education. Corruption impacts every single area of life. It undermines the healthcare. I mean, there is corruption that is involved in the healthcare, and it undermines the healthcare. It stifles economic growth. That is what corruption does. It destroys everything, is what corruption will. We must fight against corruption. We must say no to corruption. Whenever there's elected officials that are involved in corruption, we are to vote them out. Whenever there's corruption involved, we're to scream it from the rooftop. Someone says, well, that's not going to be very popular. I'm not trying to be popular. I just want to state the facts, state the truth. If there's corruption, we need to get rid of these people. That's why I'm working so hard against Joe Biden. It's because the man is corrupt. Just look at his family. Look at his son. There is corruption, and we must get rid of Joe Biden 100%. There is so much corruption. Look at the FBI system and what they're doing to President Trump. Look at some of these judges and what some of these judges are doing to President Trump. You talking about corruption, we are watching it at its finest. We don't have to look at Venezuela to see corruption. We can look right there in Washington, D.C. We can look at Pennsylvania Avenue. We can look at the White House and we can see corruption. We can look at some of these courtrooms and what they're doing to Trump and we can see corruption. We don't have to look to Venezuela. You don't have to look to China to see corruption. You can look right here in the United States of America and look at some of these judges and what some of these district attorneys are doing to President Trump, and we can see corruption happening at its finest. You don't have to look in Russia to see corruption. You don't have to look in Ukraine to see corruption. You can look right here. And that is why we must get rid of Joe Biden. That's why we must elect Donald Trump. That is why there are some legislators in D.C. There are some legislators all over the United States of America that we need to replace and we need to get rid of because they are so full of corruption. Now, now let me try to explain this. We all fail, right? Every one of us. I sin every single day. I sin, and I have to confess, and I'm so thankful for the blood of Christ, and that the blood of Christ has washed away my sin, because listen, at the end of the day, I'm a sinner, and I have a sinful nature. I have not gotten that new body yet. I'll have that at the resurrection. That's going to happen later, but I'm looking forward to that. I don't have to fight this old flesh anymore. When I'm talking about corruption, I'm talking about these people that are trying to undermine, that are stealing, these people that are lying on their reports. I mean, they're not being truthful. These people that are trying to manipulate, the system to try to get more money. They're trying to manipulate the system to try to get certain boards to place them on certain positions so they can do better, for themselves and not the community. That is corruption. And we need to get rid of those people. We need to vote them out of office. And whenever you look at D.C., I can't think of any better person to replace than Joe Biden. when it comes to corruption. Whenever I'm looking in D.C., I can't think of any other, a group of people than some of these people that are trying to destroy Donald Trump and trying to destroy the judicial system in our country and trying to destroy this nation with their corruption. Is there corruption going on? Absolutely. Absolutely. How do we fight it? Well, I'm going to get up in the morning and walk with God. I'm going to go to church. But at the end of the day, there are going to be some people that I'm going to try to replace because they're so corrupt. Choosing leaders with integrity isn't merely a political move. It's a star-studded investment in the resilience and prosperity of our communities. In this real-life drama, the role of leaders with a heart of gold is the key to a brighter, scandal-free future. I'm going to read that again. This was an email that I sent out the other day, and I'm quoting, I wrote this the other day. The role of leaders with a heart of gold is the key to a brighter, scandal-free future. I want a scandal-free future. How do we make that happen? Let's put good people in good positions. Let's get rid of some of these people. Let's vote them out of office. They're so corrupt. They're so corrupt. Let's replace them with people. They're not perfect, but they're not corrupt. And we can do that if we work together. If we understand that, number one, we understand this, that your vote counts. We say, yeah, our vote does count. We're going to get out. We're going to work to replace, some of these people because my vote counts. My voice, I have a voice, and let's use it. And that is coming to we the people. We the people push back. We the people fight back. And we the people say, no, enough's enough. Enough's enough. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching. I've already asked you a couple of times to subscribe, share. I would appreciate it very much. But here we are on The Guardian talking about corruption. I hope you have a great week. I hope things go well for you. God bless you, and God bless the great United States of America.